One time, yeah. Three times, four times. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't cheat, screaming bump the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had the slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. You stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't doing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peep these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That done came up.
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop, I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout it, let the silly go.
One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. There we go. There we go. How are y'all doing this evening? All right. Let me get the button in. Let me get on my TikTok here. I'll be forgetting to set this up because I'll be using my phone up until the very last minute. Hold on, y'all. All right, up until the very last minute, like I was saying, shalom, shalom, praise the Lord. How is everyone doing this evening? I hope y'all are having a good Thursday like I am. Prayerfully your day went well. I know I'm a little bit off center. My producer is not here to assist me, so okay, there we go. We're gonna make it work. All right. First and foremost, please allow me to introduce myself, just in case you're like, who's this girl with all the braids in front of me talking right now? I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places where the content creators be. Please follow, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. There you can see some imagery of my illustrious husband, some of our past episodes, catch a couple of music videos, you know what I'm saying? Have yourself a good little time over there on the YouTube. Shout out to my audience on the Saya TV. If you have not downloaded the Saya TV app, please do so. You can download it on your Roku, your Fire Sticks, your smart TVs. I have not had a Fire Stick in so long. We used to have one years ago, but not anymore. All right. Is that it? Is that everything and everybody? Yes, it is. All right. So yeah, I got a few things to talk to y'all about tonight. So our main topic is the high price of selling for less, and we're gonna get to that because I got a couple of interesting, like little side stories to go to. This first thing I heard about it, or did I read about it? I don't know. But scientists in Switzerland are looking to soon be able to provide you with water made from plastic. That's right. Water made from plastic. What they are doing is, hold on, where is it? Okay, scientists have figured out a way to convert plastic bottles into vanilla flavoring with genetically engineered bacteria. Vanillin, which is the compound that they get from like the beavers and crude oil, other things that they make vanilla from beside the plant. It can be extracted naturally from vanilla beans or made synthetically. About 85% of vanillin is currently made from chemicals taken from fossil fuels. So even the vanilla that we're eating right now is not from a plant. It's from fossil fuels. I'm so confused. But so what they are trying to do is replace the vanilla plant with these plastic bottles. The article I read earlier said that they did know a few side effects like headaches, indigestion, digestive problems, which, you're swallowing plastic. So, just be careful, you guys. Be careful. Shout out to everybody on my TikTok. Thank you guys for the likes. Keep smashing that screen. Yeah, so like, what are they feeding us? I'm so confused. Shout out to my hubby, Monologue Magad. Hey, babe. Brianna, Shalom, and Shalom. Thank you for joining me, sis. Thank you. Oh, the braids. Let me tell y'all about the braids, okay? I don't know if y'all have heard about gal braiding hair, GYAL. It's like been all over my Facebook, and probably since I'm talking about it right now, it's going to be all over yours. Get the hair. Okay, I have had so many problems with beauty supply store hair. It itches, my scalp turns red. I'm always like irritated and rubbing and spraying and oiling my scalp and just trying everything to get it to stop itching. The gal braiding hair, I haven't had any issues, and I sweat a lot. Okay, I work out. I like to take hot, steamy showers multiple times a day, so I sweat a lot. I have not had any of those issues with this hair. So I'm telling y'all, and it's about the same price. I paid $40 for like 8 or 9 packs of hair. And it was enough. I got extra small braids. And she used all the hair. Amazing. Okay. So y'all check that out next time you want to get your hair braided. All right. Listen. Everybody has been talking about this Marvin Sapp situation, okay? As a person who grew up in church, I have my thoughts and views and opinions on it. So we're gonna take a look at the video so we can see what actually was said, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. Okay.
sap, lead, and they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I just think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife Melinda P. Sapp was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get 1 soda, 2 straws. I wasn't cheap, that's swag. I was looking in her eyes, she's looking in mine. Can't do that no more. Now everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers. That 20 wasn't for you. And this is what I need you to do. If you're giving electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm gonna have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on take your phone and stick it on the bucket.
All right, they're gonna start giving at that point. So, okay. Now, Beanie the Beat Bandit, Shalom, thank you for joining me. Okay, now, like I said, I grew up in church, okay? Grew up in church for as long as I can remember. And so a situation like this is not unusual for me. Okay, I will tell you that. And if anybody's in the chat, please jump in. If you grew up in Black church, this is not an unusual situation. It happens a lot during offering. Okay, first of all, when they do offering at Black church, it is a time of reverence and respect. Like, this is worship. This is a highly important time. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just telling you what we were used to, because there's a lot of confusion for the people who are agreeing with this, okay? And so on the one hand, it's kind of like, I want to say, a cultural thing. And it kind of is. Because again, if you grew up in church and you've sat through this before, then you understand that this is not uncommon. Even on Sunday morning, when they're raising money for the Sunday morning offering, for tithes, any kind of offering, they're always going to tell Eric, close the doors, everybody stop moving. Especially if it's a big church, close the doors, everybody stop moving. This is, I need you all to be praying, because you need to be praying about what you're going to give. You need to hear from the Lord so he can direct you in terms of what to give. Okay. So I'm just saying that to let y'all know it's not unusual for people who usually go to church. Okay. I'm not saying that it's right. Okay. But what I will say is this, and it's not just about this issue with Black church. I'm going to say this about a lot of issues with Black church. The act of raising an offering is to go to the budget of the ministry. It's for the church. It's for the lights. It's for the employees. It's for them paying guest speakers to come, because y'all know Marvin Sapp ain't coming to stand in nobody's pulpit for free. He has a church of his own, okay? Or at least he used to. And so they have things to pay for, right? And so in your mind, you might be like, well, ministry is supposed to be free. And yes, it should. You should feel welcome to come and sit in any church that you go to, and not feel obligated to give financially, especially if you don't have it, right? So I get that part as well. But this goes to just us being a part of a system that was established well before we were born, and now we're here to deal with it. Okay, and it's up to us to decide if we're going to change the way that Black church is done, or if we're going to keep continuing in these traditions. And listen, we're not the first generation of people to point out all these inconsistencies and problems with the way church is done, but also the institution of Black church has lasted all of this time. All of this time. Because our grandmamas and our mamas and our aunties and our uncles and them was in there faithfully paying their tithes and giving their offerings. I know if we would have been in church and my mama would have had the $20, it could have been her last $20. But if she felt moved enough, she was going to get in line and give that $20. Right? And so I feel like it's definitely an exaggeration for people to be saying like he was holding them hostage and he locked them in until he raised $40,000. Now, I have been at some okay. When it's an event like a special event, especially when they call in a guest speaker or if it's like a revival or something like that, they will take up the offering, go to the back to count the offering, and then come back and be like, hey, we ain't raised enough money. We need y'all to give us some more money. That's the way church is done. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. Okay. But what I'm saying is for the wrong that it is, I'm not willing to bash every pastor who has to raise an offering. I'm not willing to bash the Black church as a whole. And the fact of the matter is, like, if it wasn't for social media, nobody would be saying anything about this. If it wasn't for someone having a camera and putting it on TikTok and YouTube and every place else for the whole world to see, nobody would have anything to say. That would have been between that church and their members. And that's the way things have always been done. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like an inside thing. That's how I feel about it. It's an inside thing, okay? So it's not for us to be condemning Marvin Sapp or anything like that. This is the way that the business side of church is done. That's the way the business side of church is done. So, you know. I saw this. He was out of order. You can't force me to give nothing. No, exactly. No. And no one should ever feel forced to give anything. I do hate when they prolong the offering because then there is pressure. Because now you do have people debating between giving this offering or putting gas in their car, giving this offering or getting to work this week, giving this offering or even paying bills. Like there are people that have foregone their bills because the man of God or the prophet of God came and told them that if you give God your last $100, you're going to get a check for $1,000 in the mail. Absolutely, I have seen that happen. Okay, so I'm not saying that it does not happen, but I just want to say, like, from what we saw in this clip, like, I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to bash your brother. That's all I'm saying. Mama's at home. Shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining us. Kick the chef. What is up, my brother? That is my brother. Shalom and shalom. Israel, shalom, shalom. Thank y'all for hanging out with me this evening. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. I want to tell y'all something, but I can't tell y'all yet because I have not been given permission to tell y'all yet. But just know that it's cooking over here, okay? It is cooking over here. That's all I'm going to say. Listen, if you like what we got going on over here, you like what I'm saying, you like, hey, I want to help out with what y'all got going over there at the House of Mono, please head to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. $1 or $2 will Dude. Okay. Okay. I was debating on what order to do these last two clips, but I know because y'all, this first one I'm upset about. But the second one I'm gonna do, y'all, I'm probably gonna cry. Okay, so let's get to this one. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this gym modesty post going around everywhere. It's been on Facebook, it's been on TikTok. Okay, but it is these young ladies dressed modestly in the gym. You see, they have on long sleeve jackets, they have on their long skirts, everything is covered. They look very beautiful, very respectable. They look like they came to the gym to handle their business and go home, okay? But unfortunately, the comments on the post are so I'm baffled by the comments, okay? And there were some nice positive comments, but it's comments like these. Where is it? Okay, this one. Everyone can do what they please, and I'm glad they feel comfortable, but I do quote unquote judge, for lack of a better term, this more than skimpy gym attire, mostly because they feel the need to post about it in a way that insinuated that they think they are better than others. Wear what you want and shut up about it. Okay. Then this one, but then they take pictures and post online for the world to see. Where is the criticism for the other side? Like, where's the criticism for the women who go to the gym dressed in booty shorts, boobs all out, showing their shape? Hold on, let me see. Where? I do this, but I hate being restricted. I need to be able to stretch. Besides, the machines I use for lower body require me to have mobility, and a skirt will restrict that. Da 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 da. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, okay. And let's look at this comment just to show. I would just like to show the difference in how dressing modestly is received among different cultures. Okay. This lady said, I live in a Jewish neighborhood and this is how they all look at the gym. Leggings on under a long skirt and hair covered. Same with the Middle Eastern girlies. This ain't nothing new or special. Okay. She didn't have to add that last part, but I don't understand why the hatred for the gym modesty. Yes, all praises to the Most High for the gym modesty. I don't understand the hatred that comes from modesty. I don't. And I see it a lot on modesty posts, on girls that purposely post themselves dressing modestly. There's always a lot of hate, and I don't understand why. And the main thing they like to say, like that commenter said, they think they're better than everybody else. No, you think they're better than you. And that is what's making you reflect that statement. These women choosing to dress modestly has nothing to do with the world. It has nothing to do with anyone else's opinion. It is solely for them to please their God. So why is it so offensive to everyone else? We are literally living in the time where people will call evil good and good evil, right? Because the same women that go to the gym dressed all skimpy will then turn around and record every man that walks by looking at them as if men aren't supposed to be sexually attracted to women. And when you show your body parts that are used for sex, like men aren't supposed to look at that. I don't understand. It's like we don't want men to like us. And then we're mad for women saying, hey, I know what I got going on, so let me keep this under wraps so as not to draw anyone to temptation. Why isn't that respected even the more, especially for you married women out here? Okay. And it doesn't have to be about a married woman being insecure, because I'm not insecure at all, honey. I be looking with my husband because some of these monstrosities that be walking around here, cheeks all out, boobs all out, The only thing we can't see is your actual cervix. But if you bend over, why is righteousness so hated on? Why is the thing that is meant to protect us all so hated on? Why? And if seeing a woman dress modestly makes you feel small, then maybe that's a clue that you need to start dressing a little more modestly. I think the fact of the matter is you guys are finding out that dressing like whores is not working out the way that you had thought that it would. And I can understand why you would be disillusioned, okay? These girls get on Instagram, they get on TikTok, they post themselves looking all skimpy, they got all the likes, all the comments, and from looking from their social media, you'd be like, dang, they got it going on. Look, she getting money just for getting naked on IG. Why don't I try it too? I understand that they make you think that, but then you try it in real life and it's not that. It's not that at all. It's a lot of disrespect. It's a lot of name calling. It's a lot of dudes trying you. It's a lot of men accidentally brushing up against you when they walk by you in the aisle at the store. It's a lot of men looking you up and down all creepy and crazy. And if you're saying that it doesn't happen to you, my next question is, are you ugly? I'm just saying, the comments. I've seen so many nasty comments about these ladies, and in my opinion, they are better. Exactly, they are. Women broadcast themselves in the gym being half naked all the time, so we need to see more modesty. We absolutely do. And I'm gonna tell you, I just work out at home. Like, I just work out at home. I got a lot of body, but I also want to be free when I'm working out. So what do? I work out at home. It's just that simple. Like, it is so simple to choose to be righteous. I hate myself, so let me just pick on anything. That's all that it is. My plans for being an IG model didn't work out for me. My OnlyFans subscribers are not paying. Like it's not working out for me. So let me hate on people who are doing it differently. That's exactly what it's given. And this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. That is the only reason that you would have a problem with righteousness. The only darkness runs from light. The only people you only have a problem with righteousness when you are rebelling. When you are rebelling. You know how it is when you living wrong and you don't want nobody talking to you about God right now. You don't want to hear the word right now. You've been fornicating. He done broke your heart. So now you going trying to get some ease for your heartache, and all the people around you is telling you is, girl, you need to repent. You need to leave him alone. That's not who God had for you. And you don't want to hear none of that. So you just stop talking to them because you don't want to hear no righteousness right now. Y'all know how it is. This is why they mad. That's exactly why they mad. That's exactly why they're mad. Getting likes on social media don't equate to money. It does not equate to money. Stop looking at these girls. Listen, do you know that there are photo studios that you can go to? Matter of fact, it's not even a whole photo studio. There are empty buildings right now that people buy and renovate and set up props to make it look like you are on a private jet, to make it look like you are on a beach, to make it look like you are at an expensive restaurant. And these influencers go there with clothes that they either one, rent, or two, buy and take back the next day. These influencers rent these spaces and they take all these pictures and do all these outfit changes. And once they return the clothes that they rented or the clothes that they bought/borrowed, they post the pictures strategically to make you think that, ooh, every time I turn around, she's on vacation. Every time I turn around, she's eating here and she's eating there and she's doing that. And what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you except you live in reality. And you're not with it enough to fake the funk. I keep telling y'all, unplug from social media. Stop looking at these girls. What they living ain't real. So please, all praises for my sisters who are being modest in the gym, wherever they go, at school, at work. It is not noticed. It is appreciated. Okay? It is appreciated. All right, y'all. This next one, let me take a sip because if I have to fake it, I don't want it. Exactly. People are too comfortable being inauthentic. Way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. Y'all, this next one broke my heart. Okay, here I was innocently minding my business. I think I was getting ready to start my day, and I made the mistake of going to Google, and my heart just ain't been right ever since. Okay. Now, let me start. Let me start by saying this before I show y'all this. All right, now I don't know how y'all feel about Candace Owens or whatever. Okay, I don't agree with everything she says. Matter of fact, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that she says. I'm not falling for her all of a sudden pro-black stance. I'm not falling for that because of the things that she said when she was on Daily Mail. She's still married to a white man. Okay, so I'm not falling for that. However, some of the stuff she says is on point. So lately, she's been doing an expose about the Harvey Weinstein trial. If y'all don't know who Harvey Weinstein is, do you remember the Me Too movement that happened a few years ago when all these Hollywood producers and executives and actors, and I think like Matt Lauer from NBC News got fired, like all these big, rich, powerful men were getting fired from all these sexual abuse allegations. Women were coming back from 5, 10, 15, 20 years with all of these abuse allegations. So Harvey Weinstein was one of the bigger fish. He got 20 years. Okay, he got 20 years. However, Candace Owens has been going through his court transcripts and breaking down the inconsistencies. And I'm telling you right now, like all he should have to do is take to court, and that man should go free. However, since the Me Too movement, and it's especially seems like since last year and kind of onto this year, it's been a lot of our rappers, athletes, producers, y'all know Diddy and the like, being accused of these sexual assault allegations, right? And so we're all looking at Diddy and Jay-Z like, y'all did it. But one person who's been flying under the radar, and every time he comes up with this stuff, it breaks my heart. It really do, because I still feel like this person is a child. I still look at Soulja Boy as a little 16, 17-year-old. Crank that Soulja Boy. Like, I still look at that person, hop up out the bed, turn my swag on. That is what Soulja Boy is to me. So to see that he is facing a civil trial over his third or fourth set of raping and assault allegations, I just y'all, I can't take it. I don't believe it. Soulja Boy. So let's go through the article. This is from USA Today. Soulja Boy is facing a civil trial more than 4 years after a former personal assistant accusing him of rape and kidnapping. Now, I read another article about this, so it's some more information in there. So, he hired this girl. He was supposed to pay her $500 a week. The girl ended up moving in with him. Okay, she ended up moving in with him. In 2021, the rapper, whose real name is DeAndre Cortez Way, told TMZ, "I vehemently and unequivocally deny these allegations. I'm in contact with my legal team." Okay. The lawsuit was filed in January 2021. The woman, she's chosen to remain anonymous, goes by Jane Doe, began working for Way as a personal assistant in 2018. Alleged the rapper began sending her unsolicited private part pics. But again, y'all were dating and you lived with him. Okay. Within the first month of her employment, and a romantic relationship between them began that turned extremely toxic. If you send me pics in the first month of my employment and they were unsolicited, and I'm so offended that now I have to sue you for them later, how does a romantic relationship ensue from that? How are we going? How? I'm so offended. You've assaulted my eyes with the pictures of your private parts. So how are we going to? Okay. A romantic relationship began between them that ultimately turned toxic. She accused Way of numerous instances of physical violence, including kicking, throwing, and punching, as well as sexual assaults, spitting on her body, and threats of physical violence and death. In one incident, the woman alleged Way became irate with her in a car, grabbed her, and pushed her out of the vehicle. The lawsuit also said the rapper punched her in the head on at least 10 separate occasions and, when inappropriately touched her, forcibly pulled her pants off and raped her on numerous occasions. When the woman tried to quit and leave, Way, the lawsuit alleged, he locked her in a room against her will for 3 days with no hot water. In August 2020, the lawsuit said the woman ran away and moved out of Wade's home after he attacked her. But then when she attempted to retrieve her personal belongings, he allegedly refused to give them back and instead used the opportunity to grape her again. She was then violently attacked when trying to retrieve her belongings a few months later. The suit alleged Jane Doe also alleges she is owed unpaid wages. Okay, y'all. Let me say this, okay? He was on drugs at one point. Can't put it past him. He was on drugs. He was on drugs. Okay, let me say this, right? I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm not trying to victim blame. But I also feel like the feminist movement has given women, not just the feminist movement, but this whole Me Too movement has given modern women the mindset that they have a wild card to press charges against a man if the results of their intimate relations do not turn out the way that they wanted it to. We are now to a point where a woman can sleep with a man, and if he doesn't call her back the next day, and I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'm not saying that's what happened here. I'm saying in the simplest of terms. If he don't call her back the next day, if he don't text her, if he breaks up with her, now she can go and file assault charges. And the thing about filing assault charges is, even if the man is found not guilty, the rumor of the assault is still attached to his name. Okay? It's always going to stick with him. It's going to be a stigma that sticks with him for a long time. Them Diddy rumors been flying since I was a teenager. And I'm about to be 45. Most high willing, praise the Lord. Okay, so we talking about at least 30 years of these Diddy rumors flying around. It's been rumors about Jay-Z for at least 20 years. I've been hearing rumors about Jay. Once it's out there, and there's nothing that can be done, okay? The second thing I want to say is this. For these modern women to be so educated, to be so strong, so powerful, so empowered, so equal, why you keep ending up in the same terrible situations? Why do you keep ending up in the same terrible situations? How many times does a person have to abuse you before you decide that it's a crime? Because now listen, if I come to work for you and you start sending me pictures of your sexual organs that I did not ask for and I do not want at all, how that's the end of the story for me. That's the end for me. Even listen, and I know y'all might be, oh, maybe she needed the money, maybe she needed the money. She was working for Soulja Boy for $500 a week. Ma'am, sis cousin, you can go right to McDonald's. McDonald's is paying pretty decent. I'm pretty sure you can make $500 a week there. So I'm not buying that, oh, this was just such a awesome opportunity that she just couldn't let it go. I'm not buying that. So not only do you allege that he sent you a penis pic 1 month into your employment with him, you then begin to have a romantic relationship with him. And the romantic relationship progressed to the point that you moved in with him. Now this and in the lawsuit, she's claiming that this abuse took place over this whole time. So how do you now get to come back and sue him? Hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying. I've been in an abusive relationship. I'm not talking as someone who's never been through it and, oh, I'm looking down my nose. Absolutely not. And you know what someone told me? And this is somebody who loves me, okay? Cares about me, a family member of mine, a very close family member of mine. And we were discussing this situation about why I was still angry about it. And I'm like, he abused me. What do you mean? Why am I still angry about it? He beat me. He this, he that, he da 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 da. And they was like, yeah, but you stayed for it. And as much as it hurt for that person to say that to me, because why would you say that to me? Like, why? That's the reality of the situation. You stayed. And a lot of these new lawsuits, thank you for the live, and a lot of these new lawsuits that are coming out, you will find that these women allege that this abuse happened over years of time. Not only did this happen over years of time, they kept putting themselves in situations for intimate relations to take place. I cannot continue to feel sorry for women that put themselves in these situations, and then you want to come back and tell everybody that he did you wrong. Well, ma'am, sis cousin, there's a reason you're not supposed to have sex until you get married. And there's a reason that you're supposed to conduct yourself in a certain manner. And, you know, even though the Bible doesn't explicitly say, like, hey, don't go over that man's house at night because it's not wise, the Bible does tell us to shun the very appearance of evil. And what do you think somebody's going to think when they see you walking into this man's house at night and then leaving later on that night and or in the morning? Like, at what point are modern women going to be held accountable for the wolf tickets that they sell? Because you don't need a man, you don't need protected, you got this. But as soon as a man hurts your feelings, now you want to weaponize the law against him. And not even the law, you want to go the civil route and hit his pockets. And then what's so crazy? I don't know how many of you watch Marriage Boot Camp, but a few years ago, Soulja Boy was on Marriage Boot Camp with Nia Riley, who happens to be Teddy Riley's daughter. A lot of you may not be able to old enough to know who Teddy Riley is, but he's like the grandfather of, what is that? New Jack Swing. He's the grandfather of New Jack Swing. Like, so in the early 90s, Teddy Riley was like a big deal. He's with Blackstreet. He was writing for everybody. He was featured on everybody's song. He was like that dude, okay? So, you know, to be dating his daughter, that's like a big deal. Well, she came out and was talking about how Soulja Boy did all these horrible things to her, kicked her in the stomach, made her had a miscarriage and all this other stuff. And even with that being public knowledge, these women still continue to be in his DMs, to hit him up, to make themselves available. It was probably a few of them that heard what Nia was saying and hit him up and was like, I know she's lying on you, boo. If you ever need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here for you. So how much of this are we going to, how much of it is the man's fault? How much of it is his fault if women keep telling you, hey, something's wrong with this man, and y'all keep going over there? You know how they put up the signs on the highway when they're doing construction, especially here in Atlanta. Especially here in Atlanta, they'll put up a sign 50 miles out that says right lane, closed ahead, merge left. So the idea is for you to get out the right lane now so there's not a problem later on when the right lane ends. But what do idiots do? They stay in the right lane knowing that there's danger ahead. And now you want everybody else to move out the way and accommodate you. No, the sign was 50 miles back that way. I can't, as a woman with a brain, 2 ears, and a mouth, and 2 eyes, continue to feel sorry for y'all when y'all put yourselves in these situations. Listen, I tell my daughters, if you don't want to sleep with him, don't be behind closed doors with him. Let's nip all that in the bud. You're not ready to have sex? Don't be at his house. Don't be behind closed doors with a man that you are not ready to sleep with. We took care of all that right there. You pray, lead us not into temptation. God didn't tell you to go to that man's house, you did. And then when you wake up the next day with that fornication hangover, ain't nobody tell you to go over there. Why are you in the hotel room at 2:00 at night? Why are you in the hotel room at all? Why at all? And then I had to learn this about men very early, okay? And I know a lot of y'all women don't want to hear this, and this is not male bashing, okay? This is not man bashing. I'm trying to tell y'all something. I'm trying to put y'all up on game. And if the men in the chat want to be honest with you, they will, okay? But I have learned for the most part that if a man goes out of his way to speak to you, it's because he wants something. It's because he wants something. He did not come to you because your shirt is pretty or because, he sees the light of the Lord shining from you. It's because he wants some. I've had men who have watched me grow up. I just told my husband this story like a couple of weeks ago. This is a man who we both grew up with in church, okay? Since I'm 11, this man has seen me. And now I'm 18, 19, and I go to, he owned a shop. So I went there to get some stuff from my car or whatever. And I'm talking to him, and he's like, hey, girl, don't call me uncle. Excuse me? Don't call you uncle. I could tell y'all stories of men who have straight just come out to me and said, hey, girl, don't keep talking to me unless you're trying to get. And those was the ones that was being honest. So I'm not understanding. I don't know. Maybe I just run into weirdos who don't mind telling me the truth or something. I don't know, but I'm just not understanding why this continues to be an issue and how we arrived at the point where now women decide, oh, if you're going to break up with me, I'm going to at least get paid for it. And now I'm going to sue you. No, and I'm not feeling sorry for you. No. I'm going backwards now. You got to prove it to me. Prove to me you was assaulted. And I'm not saying domestic violence don't happen. I'm not saying it's not wrong. I'm not saying it's not terrible. But at what point are we going to start taking responsibility for our own actions and our own behaviors and removing ourselves from situations once we realize that they are dangerous? It shouldn't take him busting you upside the head one time. That first time should be enough. That first time should be enough. You ain't got to hit me no more, sir. I heard you loud and clear. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Soulja Boy is innocent, but like, if Khaleesi, who's the dog, if Khaleesi, every time Khaleesi walk in the house, she see a sock on the floor, she gonna pick it up. She a dog. She wanna play with whatever's on the floor. So if I keep leaving a sock on the floor, I can't keep yelling at Khaleesi because she keep picking up the sock. And I know y'all want to be like, oh, that's a grown man. How you gonna compare him to a dog? Because he's a foolish man. He's a foolish man. And that's gonna bring us to our main topic. Let me read some of y'all comments and we're gonna go to our main topic. A lot of these be buyer's remorse for real. Exactly. You can't sleep with a man and then when it don't work out, scream great. That's exactly what it is. That's all it is. As someone who grew up on Soulja Boy, it makes me sad. I know it makes me so sad too. I went to a V103 car and bike show and he performed there. So like I'm really hurt by this. He's had some pretty violent outbursts these past few years, but I also know how women can be, so I wouldn't be surprised either way. Thank you. Finally, another woman willing to take accountability. Yes. We can do things, yes. But personable. What's personable? Their women's intuition never works when it needs to. It never works when it needs to. It only works if you're trying to catch them in the wrong. But when it comes to saving your own life or saving yourself some trauma, all of a sudden the intuition is gone. Cinderella lost a shoe and got her husband. Sister's taking off everything and can't get a call back. The facts are the facts, and we can't argue with the facts. Like, why stick around for that long and deal with the abuse? Just leave the first time. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like when the judges hear that they should automatically throw out the case. How long you was with him? No. Why do we keep if you're not doing that, then you're rewarding bad behavior. Because if the women weren't getting paid, then maybe they would stop being stupid and staying in these relationships. What is it? What can it be besides, this a lick right here. I'm about to hit this bag. What could it be beside that? Come on now. Stop allowing the BS. Stop showing for it to happen over and over again. The first month, please. The first 30 days. Please. You still on probation. The first 30 days. We still in a free trial period. You ain't even charged me the first $9.99 for the first month. I can still walk in and get a full refund. Even at Planet Fitness. So why would I stay with you? Don't make no sense. It's crazy. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. If you like what we got going on over here, please feel free to head over to the Cash App. $, the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. I just want to assure you that your $1 or $2 or wherever you are touched to give goes right back into the show. Okay, you see the lights and the cameras and the action. We got to pay for this stuff. So please feel free. All right, so y'all, the main topic is the story that I'm going to use for the main topic is a heavy one. The high price of selling for less. Now that is a heavy topic, okay? And I was struggling with what to talk about this week. I was going to continue on the road we were on as far as like being content, meeting your goals and stuff like that. But then this story came up and I was like, oh yes, we need to talk about this. There's a lady, her name is Stephanie Dowell. Stephanie Dowell was 62 years old. She was a successful hair salon owner. She had a beautiful family. I think she had 2 kids, a son and a daughter, and I think she had a grandchild too, right? So here she is living her best life. And she goes through some changes. I want to say like she lost some weight. Did she have surgery? I know she lost some weight. She had some work done or whatever. So she out here feeling herself, right? She posting all these pictures on Facebook. I mean, I wouldn't post those pictures at my age. Definitely not at 62. But again, we're talking about a single woman here. So who knows? Okay. So anyway, she's posting these pictures of her scantily clad, whatever. On the other side of the world, there is a man, David Brinson. Mr. Brinson, one day in 1990, decided to follow a bar owner home. This guy owns a bar, you know, like Sam from Cheers or whatever, any bar or whatever. Okay, so he owns a bar. Mr. Brinson follows this man home, kicks the door in. He kicks the door in because he feel like Mr. Brinson got a couple birds up in there. Okay, couple keys, couple birds. Thought he was gonna kick the door in, get him some bricks, and start living like freaking Scarface or something. I don't know. All right, so when he kicks the door in, the bar owner is there, but it's 3 of his buddies there too. They getting ready to watch the baseball game that's coming on TV. He ties them up at gunpoint, makes them all lay down while he searches the house. Unfortunately, no snow, only a little bit of mud, okay? Apparently, this pissed the man off. He shoots all 4 of the men execution style while they're tied up on the living room floor. He's arrested, goes to jail. He is subsequently sentenced to 4 life sentences plus 20 years for an enhancement. Now, hear me, four lives, 4 life sentences, okay? So even if you're saying like life is only 50 years, that's 200 years, buddy. You're never getting out of jail. Plus another 20 for enhancement. Your ghost is going to be in jail, okay? Soon as you die and your spirit try to escape, no, you're going to be in jail forever and ever, okay? Fine. These 2 people should never encounter each other. This man has been in jail since 1993. I was 12, turning 13, 1993. Before Wi-Fi. This is before the internet, or at least the internet in people's houses. Yeah, this is before the internet. Okay. 1993. This man has been in jail. 4 life sentences plus 20 years for an enhancement, but he's not on death row. That's going to be important to the story. So one day, this guy, David Brinson, sees a picture of Stephanie Dowell on Facebook. So I'm assuming, I don't know, I've never been in prison. I've never been a con artist. I've never like scammed people for love on the internet. So I'm not sure how the background on that goes, but I'm pretty sure he went up and down her profile and must have saw a couple of Bible verses and something about, oh, I'm a woman of God and I love Jesus and da-da-da-da-da, right? So he hits her up. And of course, they have a commonality in their faith because he is such a Christian now. He is so strong in the word of God. And listen to me. I am not saying that people can't change. I'm not saying that people can't change. All right. I just wanted to insert that in there. So anyway, they begin this lovely romantic relationship on Facebook. They're doing Bible study together. They are praying together every night, or I guess until the phone go off and he can't call her no more. I don't know. So they decide to get married, right? All the Bible studying and the talking that they were doing moves her to marry this man who's in prison for 4 life sentences plus 20 years. I just want y'all to remember that, okay? Well, like most married people, you want to consummate your marriage, don't you? You want to get down to the nitty gritty, especially if y'all, you know what I'm saying, ain't had the chance to, right? So it's finally time for them to consummate their marriage, and he is granted a conjugal visit. Now, at the prison where he is, conjugal visits are allowed for prisoners. They get to go in these tiny apartment style rooms or whatever, right? There's a bedroom, a living room. It's not much, but it's enough for them to go in there, do, and kind of be comfortable, and a bathroom. That's all that's in there. The guards are supposed to come by every 4 hours to check on the prisoners and make sure they're still there. There's a phone in the room, and there's security. There are prison guards walking around, but they try to give the prisoners their privacy, so they try not to intrude too much on their visit or whatever, right? Okay, sure. Stephanie packs her lingerie. She lets everybody know she's going to get down with her man. Now, sidebar, everybody in her family told her she was crazy. Her children, her friends, her employees, the strangers that she met on the street, the pigeons that was cuckooing, the sparrows that was singing in the morning. Everybody told her she was stupid for doing this. But God sent her this man. God sent her this man. Had to be, because all they do is Bible study and talk about God on the phone. So this had to be sent from God. She ignores everyone around her and goes to ensue the conjugal visit. At 2 a.m. the night or the next morning of their visits, David Brinson calls the authorities, I guess, I don't know, and tells them that Stephanie has passed out. He doesn't know what's wrong with her. They get there, they call an ambulance, they're working on her, they pronounce her dead. You know, it takes time to do autopsies and stuff. So at the time, it was just natural causes. You know, nobody suspected anything. Oh my goodness. You know, she just died. We don't know what happened. Blah, 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 blah. Come to find out 4 months later, the cause of her death was asphyxiation, manual asphyxiation. Okay. So that means that he, with his bare hands, choked her to death. Okay. So now her children want answers, and her children are trying to hold the prison responsible. Let me say this though. The prison policy, the reason I mentioned that he is not on death row is because the prison policy is that prisoners can have conjugal visits as long as they are not on death row and are not under any disciplinary action. So as long as you've been good while you're in jail and you're not on death row, you are allowed to be alone in a room with another person, even a convicted murderer. Okay. And then here's what's extra tea. What's extra tea is this is the second time that this has happened at this exact same prison behind another prisoner that was there on a life sentence as well. And now that lady's family, her name is Tanya. I forgot what her whole name is. Hold on. I think I have it here in front of me. Tanya Vanessa Corpus Thomas. Okay, same thing happened to her. She was there visiting a man who she had married while he was in prison, and he manually asphyxiated her as well. And so I'm telling you this story because I know what y'all thinking. Like, oh, that's so stupid. That could never happen to me. But I'm here to tell you that those women probably used to say the same thing to themselves. I would never. That's so crazy. That could never happen to me. When you are lonely, or when you feel like you are lonely, that feeling can be very overwhelming. It can be a very depressing one. We as people are not meant to be alone. Like, I don't think that we were ever meant to be alone. I believe we were meant to be with the family that we were born into, and then to go into the family that we create. I believe that we were meant to live multi-generation. I believe we were meant to do multi-generational living. Grandma and grandpa should still be there to help out with the kids, especially when the parents have to go out and make a living. Like, that would just be easier for everyone. It would save on childcare expenses. You're not paying for a whole nother shelter and everything that goes with that. That's a whole nother set of bills. Unfortunately, in the day and time of the dollar being the bottom line, we live in a world now where people are expected to live alone and independently and just deal with the side effects of that. Sometimes we find ourselves alone through our own doing. If some of us are honest, you might have had a good dude or two that you messed up on. You fumbled that man a time or two, and now you are single and alone, living with the regret of what you wish you could have done. Sometimes your regret is not about a man. Sometimes it's about a job that you knew you could have tried harder on. You fumbled that bag. All they asked you to do was come to work on time, and you couldn't do that. All they asked you to do was come in with a smile, and you couldn't do that. All you had to do was shut up and ignore Susan, who kept getting on your nerves. But no, you couldn't do that. When we have come up with this blanket type of Christianity, right? Because what is their favorite thing to tell you? As long as you believe, as long as you believe, all you have to do is believe on the Father and His Son, and you'll be saved. Right? That's what they tell you. All you have to do is believe. I believe that the sky is blue. What does that? How does that affect my behavior? A dude can walk up to you and tell you, I love God. Yep, I don't play about God. I don't play about God. God, my family. I love God. That's right. And he can quote a couple of Bible scriptures to you, and he'll tell you stories about how his grandma used to take him to church. And you be like, oh, he a man of God. I mean, he a thug, but I can see the potential in him. There is a reason that there is a qualifier for proving if you love God. There are multiple reasons, thousands and hundreds of reasons. But one of the main reasons is so that other people who love God can also identify you. What do I mean by that? If I'm kicking it with you, even a homegirl, and I'm getting to know you, I know my lifestyle. I know I keep the laws. We keep a Sabbath around here. We stay away from unclean foods around here. Not only am I keeping the laws, I'm exhibiting the fruits of the Spirit. You can see my joy, my love, my patience, my gentleness. You can see these things displayed in my behavior. I'm keeping the law. I'm displaying my fruit. Therefore, someone else who also claims to love God the way that I do will see the similarities in our behavior and know, okay, we are of like minds. We could be equally yoked. But unfortunately, when you are in the throes of loneliness, singleness, you aren't thinking logically enough to check for the fruits of this person claiming that they love God. He tells you he loves God, but there's no evidence of that in his life. It doesn't have to be as drastic as him murdering 4 people. You can look at the way he treats people. A lot of y'all, look at the way they treat their baby mamas. I'm not saying he has to bow down and kowtow and kiss her behind. Absolutely not. But there is a matter of respect that he should be giving the mother of his children, no matter how he feels about her. But instead of us having our logical thinking caps on, we're so messed up off loneliness. We're so insecure and jealous that if he even say hi to her, we got a problem with that. If he even try to have a decent, if he even ask her how you doing, you got a problem with that. You don't want him to do nothing. You just want him to go pick up the kid and leave. You don't want him to say nothing to her. Don't answer the phone when she calls. You don't want him to act right. You need dysfunction in your life in order to feel like that man really loves you. I don't know how many of y'all have heard this, but there are actual women out there who feel like if their man ain't beating on them, he don't love them enough. If he don't reach a certain height of anger and jealousy, then he don't really love me. We don't have the luxury of having a solid community around us to vet people who would want to come in our lives. There was a time when if you wanted to date a sister, you had to go through her father, her uncles, her brothers, her cousins, the aunties, the grandma, the mama, the sisters, and everybody is checking you out to look for what their loved one may not be able to see. Because you know how it is when you start liking an old boy. He could be walking around with a booger in his nose. You'd be like, oh, he's so funny. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else can see it, but you just so dizzy. You can't see what's wrong with him. And a lot of times, here's what you got to understand about somebody who has discernment. Okay? When a person who has discernment, when a person walks in the room, it's like their spiritual makeup is written on their shirt. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's happened to me a few times. I just be sitting there minding my business and it'll just be a rundown. Leave this person alone. They sneaky. Leave it. Don't know. Ain't wrong. And every time my discernment has told me, every time my discernment has told me, male or female, whether it was a female that I was just trying to be friends with or whether it was a male that was trying to get with me, every time my discernment has told me no, it has never been wrong. And I have always wound up being hurt. Stop thinking that everybody's hating on you and nobody wants you to be happy. That is not true. He might really be a bum. But you got your nose too far up his behind to see that. This is another reason I'm always telling y'all, keep your legs closed. Do not have sex with these men. Once you lay down with them, your brain cells lose the ability to connect with the neurons and all of your common sense goes out the window. The Bible tells us not to be equally yoked with unbelievers, but I want you to add a little bit more. I'm not telling you to add more to the word. I'm telling you to look at the term unbelievers. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments. If a person is telling you that they love God and not keeping his commandments, they're double-minded and unstable in all of their ways. They've already shown you that they're a liar. They have already shown you that they will say one thing and do another. They're already showing you this in their relationship with God. Why do you think that they're going to do any better for you? Because a person loving you is not good enough. There's this song from the 90s. and it was in the show Paradise, and I really loved this song. I used to love it back in the 90s, and since I've been listening to it again, I love it now too. But the song is called More Than Words, and it says, more than words is all I ever need to know that you love me. It's basically saying your words don't mean anything. I need more than words. That's how you show me you love me. I don't care what you say. And if he can't fulfill that requirement with God, why do you think he would fulfill that requirement with you? Y'all have to stop falling falling for these dudes who have no authority over their head. He has no way to show you how he conducts himself in his everyday life. How you do one thing is how you'll do everything. And I used to didn't understand that until I started hearing it as I was working out, because it's true. Are you going to put all of your effort into this? Or are you going to play around with it? A person who doesn't take God seriously will never take you seriously. And I know you might be like, oh, well, it's couples in the world that's making it work. And listen to me. Them couples in the world is doing things that your poor innocent baby brain could probably never think of. Stop thinking that there is an alternative for following the orders that God gave you. We talked about this before. You got free will. You either do what God said or you suffer the consequences. And the consequences is not just you waking up in hell. What they say, in hell you shall open your eyes. That's not the only consequence of being disobedient. You're going to pay for that in your life. I hope you don't have to pay for it with your life. I mean, prayers to the families of the women who were lost. One thing that keep me off the operating table from liposuction and everything else, one thing, it's a list, but one thing that keep me off that table is because I never want anybody to have to look at my kids and tell them that they mama not here because she was too lazy or she was too vain. Okay, because sometimes that little pouch in the front just ain't going away. Okay, but I don't want anybody ever telling my kids, oh, your mama dead because she didn't like the way her stomach looked. Or your mama dead because she worked off a few pounds. Your mama dead because she wanted a BBL. How do you think Stephanie's children feel having to recount the story of what happened to their mother? Why would you see this? People don't think. Like this is why they say like unaliving yourself is one of the most selfish things you can do, because you're not here to deal with the stress of what happens after that. And let me tell y'all single mothers something. Y'all single mothers, y'all moms that's out here dating with kids, your kids are dealing with the repercussions of your heartache that you keep bringing on yourself by dating men that you know God told you to stay away from. Your kids are dealing with that. Because when you're going through your heartbreak and you're all withdrawn and you're all depressed, you're not giving them what they need. You think them kids don't know that something's wrong with you? They standing around wondering, what's wrong with mommy? Why she sad? Why she not playing with us? Why she not talking to us? And every time they come and try to talk to you, you snapping at them because you hurt and you confused. If you would have stayed away in the first place. And listen, stop thinking that just because a man does keep the law, that even if he does slip up with you and have sex with you, that it's going to be different than if it was with a man who wasn't keeping the law. Because at the end of the day, we're all still humans, right? At the end of the day, we all make mistakes, right? Hey, you might fall into temptation. You might have sex with someone who you are not married to, have no intention of marrying. Y'all, this was just an experiment. And the same freedom that you would want to be able to repent and turn away and leave this person alone, you have to grant the same freedom to that man. Right? And you might be feeling like, oh, well, no, you're supposed to honor what we did and da 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 da. No, he doesn't have to. That doesn't make him a bad person any more than that makes you a bad person for laying down with him. Right? Y'all have to understand that. And it makes you worse because you claim to know better. Stop being in a rush to fix problems when you claim that God is your source. God is your strength. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures and leadeth me beside the still waters. You quote this, you say this, but you don't live like this. Be ye anxious for nothing, and with prayer and supplication, be thankful in all things. You quote this, but you don't live like this because your anxiety about never finding a husband got you out here chasing and sleeping with any and everybody. We love to say how much faith we got, but are the fruits of your action displaying your faith? If you was to show us who you was dating right now, what would we say about you? People, I judge you by your friends. Male and female, I judge you by your friends. And this ain't just about dating. This is also about making friends socially. You got to be careful who you hang around, period. There was this video. I meant to use it. But this dad had his daughter climb in a chair and he was telling her, pull me up, try to pull me up. And she couldn't. But when the dad went to pull her down, he pulled her down so easily. And he did that. And he told her it is easier for a person to pull you down than it is for you to pull him up. It's dang near impossible to pull someone up. Now, I'm not saying that you can't encourage a person to do better and all of those wonderful things. Absolutely. But I would guard the depth of my relationship with anyone who is not equally yoked. And I'm not just talking about spiritually. I'm also talking about physically, financially, emotionally. You work out all the time and this other person likes to spend their weekends at Golden Corral. That's not going to work. You vegan and all this person want to eat is freaking Whoppers and Big Macs. That's not going to work. It's not people. It's not always so extreme as the story that I told. But one thing I must say, like, you got these shows out here like Love After Lockup and all this other stuff that are kind of like romanticizing these prison relationships. And listen, I don't care. I don't care if we was the last two people on earth. I'm never putting myself in any kind of relationship with a person who's been convicted of murder. Murder? Are you serious? 4 people over some alleged yayo that you wasn't even sure was there? Now that's crazy to me. You're not even gonna make sure the yayo is there before you kick the door in? And then he didn't even have the decency to apologize and walk out. He took 4 lives. And is never getting out. Here's the thing. He was never getting out of jail. So what can they possibly do to him? He's probably trying to get sent to death row. He probably is. That's probably what he was thinking. Like, oh, they definitely gonna take me out for this one. Because why else would you do that? Let me get to these comments. Paxton and Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Paxton over here spinning in his hat. He's too cool now. Okay, let me get to y'all comments. I'm sorry. What do you say? You got to keep it in the pants. If you stay above the mud, you can't get drugged through it. Yes, absolutely. Men should keep it in their pants. But as this show is for women, I got to put my sisters up on game. And Cali, as long as you're married and not on death row, your wife can come and stay the weekend with you often. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy because you might not be on death row, but I feel like if you have a life sentence, that's pretty much the same thing, ain't it? Because the whole thinking behind you being on death row is, oh, you ain't got nothing to lose. Well, if I had to spend the rest of my life in prison, what do you have to lose? Nothing. You're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. The pigeons, everybody, child. The doves, the birds, the fish, the ducks, the geese. Her car probably broke down on the way, okay? It's horrible. The devil knows. The devil knows. He absolutely does. Can recite them better than anybody. That's how he can so easily disguise his ministers as ministers of light. It is beyond scary. Listen, when I first heard the story, I was like, wait a minute. Because the first thing I thought was, who married somebody convicted of 4 murders, right? But then I was like, wait a minute, let me do my research. But then I was thinking about it. I love my husband. Love him very much. We will celebrate 11 years of marriage this year on June the 20th, most high willing. And I gotta tell you right now, if he was convicted of 4 murders behind some alleged yayo, nah, pimp, nah, buddy, no, sir. When you decided to commit that crime, you ended our relationship. Because ain't no way in the hell. What happened to your brain cells? What happened? So nah, whether it was before or after, nah, pimp, nah, you packed that bag yourself. You packed that bag. You handed me the divorce papers when you decided to kick that door in. The only crime I will stand behind is a crime committed to protect or provide for my family. That's it. Anything else, and my husband know this. Anything else, not only am I not gonna stay, if I know anything, I'm gonna tell them. Cause you ain't about to have them kicking in the door on me and my kids. Nope. Since you be so on point and be hitting me hard, I tell you when the regret comes back to surface, it's serious. So serious. So serious. All praise to the Most High. So listen, I wonder if you could take a poll. Well, no. When you think about it, everybody that ever took themselves out was because of regret. It was because of regret. It's because they regretted decisions that they had made up until that point in their life. So yes, regret can be a beast. Nephews, love y'all. Say hey to Auntie Angelina. Why do you have that on your head? Help the boys. Help the boy. Thank God for you in the show. All praises to the Most High. Praise the Lord. Brianna said, hey, boys. Yeah, he crazy and probably wanted death row because why mess that situation up? You got a woman that's going to come to prison and give you some. Exactly. Like, why would you mess it up? You got somebody putting money on your books. She can come to jail, bring you food and stuff. Like, why would you? And that's what I think. I feel like he's probably trying to push himself onto death row. So we'll see what happens with this. Like, this information just came out in November. So they haven't, and here's crazy. They haven't even charged him with her murder yet. They found out about this in November. They have not charged him with her murder. And that's another reason why her kids are so upset because they're like, wait a minute, somebody has to pay for this. Unfortunately, their mom paid for it. I mean, how could you not look at this situation? And I'm sorry for her family. I'm sorry to her children. But like, you walked into that. Now your family is left grieving and trying to get answers. I hope they do. But what can you do? How do you serve justice in this situation when this man is already in jail for life? And even if he does go to death row, that would be a relief for him. Because now he doesn't have to spend the rest of his life in prison. You understand what I'm saying? So how is a family ever going to feel made whole? I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy. Congratulations to you both. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the show. Please, whether you join me on YouTube, Facebook, or live on TikTok, be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. What was you about to say? Never mind. Okay. Well, on behalf of Paxton, say hey, Paxton.
Hi.
Paxton, Atticus, myself, Monologue McGad, who is the head of the House of Mono. We miss you, boo. We love you. Can't wait to see you in a little bit. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening.
Wait. I got
Okay, what?
The day before yesterday, I ran a whole 2 miles.
He did. We went for a walk. We did 2 miles. We did like 2.3 miles. Y'all, he ran the whole time. I'm talking about up and down hills. My subdivision is very hilly. Okay. Ran the whole time. So I'm about to sign him up for Atlanta Track Club because he needs to go. I mean, I was really surprised that he ran the whole time. That was crazy. But okay, on behalf of the entire House of Mono, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. I pray that something I said was helpful, whether you're listening live or on the replay. Again, please, if you like what I said or you just want to support the efforts that we have going on here at the House of Mono, please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. Tomorrow, 8 p.m., the head of my house, the love of my life, will be here tomorrow at 8 o'clock with another awesome Sabbath class for you guys. I will see y'all again next Thursday, same black time, same black station. Stop, y'all. Let me get these boys to bed for they freaking tear something down here. Okay, tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Sabbath class. Next Thursday, more. Why BOAZ don't want your ass? The ebook is coming soon. I'm gonna be finished with the ebook this weekend. My next step is self-publishing, so I'll be working on that. I'll keep y'all posted on that. We do have an announcement coming up, but I can't tell y'all yet. Okay, but it has been solidified. Paperwork has been submitted, so it's going to happen. I just can't tell y'all yet because he didn't give me the green light. So just stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Shalom, shalom, praise the Lord. I love you. Good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Daddy came up.
One time for my king doing king things. Mommy's hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I
Tune
submit.
in to Why BOAZ Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why BOAZ Don't Want Your Ass.